Welcome to What's Up, Bolts. I'm Fernando Ramirez. He's Dan and Dago. Chargers are coming off, I guess, and like I tweeted, they survived 34-24 against the Houston Texans. At one point, it looked like the Chargers were going to run away with it at halftime, 27-7. They come up second half a little bit questionable about the second half attack. But Dan, obviously, how are you feeling after the victory and the Chargers improving now to 2-2?
You know what's funny? I expected them to, handedly win this game because I personally think the Chargers are a lot better, not only on paper, but even the players we have on the field. Even though obviously you got Bosa out, you got Rashawn Slater out, which by the way, shout out to tell me his last name. Yeah, we're gonna get into that. Shout out to him though. I still believe the Chargers have a way better team on the field. So when that happens, I expected it. No problem. Doesn't mean nothing to me. The Texans aren't very good. I personally think it is more telling that they allowed them to stay in the game than the Chargers going up on them to begin with. That to me is more telling.
Yeah, no, and I mean you're not wrong there. The Chargers, like I said, they got out to a 27-7 lead at halftime. In the second quarter, they were firing on all cylinders. You had the obviously in the first quarter, you start off with a Gerald Everett. You start off with a Nasir Adderley interception. Gerald Everett, which by the way, he's only 9 away. Gilberto is now 9 away officially. Dun, 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 dun. Gilberto,
of having his dream come true.
Last year on CBS, he was invited on. I never get invited on. He got invited on last year to go on CBS, and he predicted that that Nasir Adderley would have 10 interceptions last year. Nas at 0. So I think Gilberto's carrying that over into this year, and that's one for Nas. So one for Nas is one for Gilberto. So
hey, he's gonna try and catch up and say, no, I meant career interceptions, dude. He's just
exactly
gonna go off of that.
So now that's 9 for him, and now I mean obviously that's 1 for him. So then obviously the Chargers go into then obviously Justin Herbert hits he hits Gerald Everett in the end zone for a nice touchdown pass. And then it started kind of flowing for the Chargers after that. The one question that we had with everything was what's going on with the run game, and obviously the Chargers could not get it going in the run game at all. And today they got it going. Austin Ekeler, 10-yard touchdown run in the second quarter. Then they turn around, come back again, and Austin Ekeler 20-yard run. That's 2 touchdowns for him. Then they had a mistake with the Dameon Pierce 75-yard run. Then Dustin Hopkins has 2 field goals, and there you have it, 27-7. So we'll stop it right there. Dan, just real quick on the Dameon Pierce 75-yard run. What did you see from the defense on that one?
Someone got, just completely it's called a log block for the most part, but that's when you try and reach and seal the edge. Obviously, the edge was sealed. Derwin gets blocked, and I think the corner, I assume, did his job, but you know what to say about assuming. I can't remember who it was, but Derwin gets blocked. Then there's a guy who runs off the edge of Derwin because he was kind of like, I think, the last man out there to force it back inside. Obviously, just no one fills, and bada boom, bada bing. There's your 75-yard.
I think it was a bad play by Nasir Adderley. I think he took a bad angle at the running back. So that was kind of a mistake. And then obviously the Chargers in the second half. I don't know what it is. I don't know what's going on, but like in the second half, they come out flat. They punted on. Let me check. They punted 1, 2, 3 straight times, and then they fumbled on the next one, which was the DeAndre Carter fumble. So they came out really flat. They only had plays of 6 yards, 36 yards, 15 yards. And in the second half, it felt a little bit like the Raider game where they had the lead, the big lead against the Raiders. They kind of took their foot off the gas. Joe Lombardi, in a sense, kind of admitted that after that game. But this is happening too many times. It happened in the second half against the Chiefs. It happened almost for almost the whole game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and this game it happened again, and it almost cost you another game. Luckily, they escaped, and they're 2-2 because at the end the Chargers were able to turn it on and have that big drive from Justin Herbert. But it is a little bit concerning, Dan. I don't know how you feel, but it is concerning that in the second half of this game they came out and they just really couldn't get it going on the offensive side of the football. I don't know if it's because they're trying to keep on establishing the run. I'm very surprised, if I can be completely honest, that Joshua Kelley's not getting more of a run.
I don't understand that either.
Joshua Kelley had 4 carries for 15 yards at the 3.8 average. That's really, I mean, that's pretty good, 3.8. But then, I mean, obviously Austin had the hot hand today, 13 carries, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. But at the same time, you have to be wondering why Joshua Kelley's not getting more reps. I think he deserves to carry the ball a little bit more. I think he's the one that kind of brings that energy with the running back group. So, and like I said, Austin had a good game and everything, but I think that they should be giving the ball a little bit more to Joshua Kelley.
Which, by the way, real quick, wasn't it hilarious? And it just reminded me of Varsity Blues, that drive where Josh is in and he's being efficient, running the football well and everything like that. Then they sub on Austin Ekeler in the red zone to score the touchdown. Yeah. Totally reminded of me when the running back's like, oh, you think Kilmer's looking out for me? On a sweep to Lance. On a sweep to or whatever to, what was it, or Tweeter.
A bootleg. Yeah, exactly.
A bootleg to Lance or a sweep to Tweeter. I thought that was hilarious.
That second drive, he had Joshua Kelley had kind of gotten it going a little bit in the run and in the pass game. And then obviously Austin Ekeler goes in there and he runs it was a nice touchdown. And that, what were you going to say?
Oh, no, but I was just going to say, but it's the problem we've been saying the whole time. Like, we have these moments, the Chargers have these moments where they're rotating backs or a different back's hotter or a different receiver or whatever, right? Then all of a sudden, it's like they put them on a milk carton and they're missing the rest of the game. Like, I don't understand why. You know, the key to success is always having fresh guys in there as much as you can, giving them different looks. Why aren't you rotating a little more Austin Ekeler, Joshua Kelley, and Sony Michel? Like, even if it's like give 4 plays to Austin, 2 plays to Josh, and 1 play to Sony, or however you want to divide it. But just do it to keep guys fresh and everything else and give the defense a different look.
Yeah, no, definitely. One of the other things that I found kind of interesting is that right before halftime, Josh Palmer goes out. Receiver Josh Palmer goes out.
Yep.
And the Chargers decided to throw in Michael Bandy, who they put up on who they elevated on Saturday. And I know fans have been huge. They've been ringing for him. He was the leading receiver and all this of preseason. Obviously, preseason is people see it in different ways, I guess. But Michael Bandy showed a little bit of something, and I was surprised that we didn't see more of him in the second half. He had 2 catches. I mean, I don't know if maybe the Chargers weren't 2 catches for 49 yards. And two of them were pretty big. One of them was set him up in a field goal range before halftime. Now I wonder if the Chargers may be upset with him over the that he didn't get out of bounds, and instead he tried to cut back in and make a play. Which, I mean, he's a young player, but
he's a young buck.
But at the same time, I thought I'm 2 catches for 49 yards. He showed a little something. I'm interested to kind of see him see if the Chargers are going to use him a little bit more in the future, because I like I said, I thought he did. I thought those 2 catches were pretty nice. The toe drag coming out, or the one play where he had that toe drag, I thought that was a nice one. And then obviously that long one.
100%.
But I feel like they should rotate even receiver. Oh, they rotate
100%.
I mean, like I think Michael Bandy may, and I'm not saying it's going to happen every week or whatever, but I would have loved to have seen a little bit more from him in this game and maybe see what more he has.
Well, yeah, just give him looks, dude. Like, we're not even talking about playing him like 80% of the snaps, but give him maybe 10 or 15 for those 2 catches. You know, I'm sure he works hard, because like the problem is you have guys who are in there 90% of the snaps and they're MIA for maybe 85% of it. Like, I think Josh only had 1 catch today, right? Or 2?
I believe.
And it sure wasn't more than Bandy. Bandy
1
had like
catch for 25 yards.
Yeah, there you go. Then, you know, you have the same problem with Guyton. He'll give you 1 big play and then the rest of the game he's gone. And you can't just rely only on Mike, Keenan, and then Everett whenever you want to put him in there to have run routes, because he sometimes they take him out, and then it's McKitty, or you see today we saw Rogers or other guys in there, and then we're just not rotating. And it's just hard to understand sometimes why we're not rotating guys, especially when some guys are hot. Like you said, he has those 2 catches. It looks like he's starting to produce. Why not use him in the third quarter, dude, especially coming out? And it's 27-7 anyway, or 28-7, or whatever it was. I think 27, right?
Yeah, I would have been interested to see a little bit more of him. Just because I mean, it was interesting the way I'm interested to go back and watch the game and see kind of how he got open and everything. That'll be fun to watch. Yeah, I know you mentioned it. I mean, this is what I've been getting at. Mike Williams loves playing on the road for some reason.
Exactly.
He's a road fiend. He 7 catches, 120 yards. That's the second straight road game of 100 yards. He had it against Kansas City as well. Mike has stepped up. I mean, last week he had the touchdown, but he was double teamed for most of the game. But today he stepped up, and I know he had to face Derek Stingley Jr., who that kid can play. That kid can ball. Yep. That kid is tough. He's aggressive. You saw it in a couple of his plays today. But I'm interested to see kind of how the Chargers continue to progress as an offense, especially like we said, Keenan Allen was out in this game. He wasn't there. So it was going to be interesting to see kind of how they were going to what they were going to try and do. I wrote about it over the weekend that the Chargers should establish the run. You need to establish the run. You need to get guys going. You need a healthy rotation of Sonny Michel, Joshua Kelley. See, the thing I would do is I guess Austin Ekeler obviously gets the higher share, but it's obviously like Austin Ekeler, Joshua Kelley, and then Sonny Michel, like a good even split and everything.
Because it's not easy to come off the bench cold and try and produce. You know what I mean? Like you got to get in there, get reps early, and get warmed up.
Yeah, so I just wanted to see a little bit more from the run game in that sense. But like I said, they ran the ball well today. This was kind of the game to kind of maybe get you jump started because the Texans were the worst run defense in the NFL. But like I said, I thought the offense did well. It's just the second half, you're kind of like, why did you turn it off to turn it back on? Like, just keep on going, keep on scoring points. And then if you have to take Justin out, well, that's a congratulations to Justin. Hey, great job, dude. Like, now we're going to take you out and put Chase Daniel in. Justin Herbert, 27 to 39, 340, 2 touchdowns. The one sack was the one where he gave himself up. Dan,
I thought that was garbage. That was such a late hit too. Scumbag, that guy. He looks good. I mean, they kept him upright for the most part today, I think. That was the only sack. I didn't really see him get hit or have many hurries.
He took one hit near the red zone, but that was basically all he did. That's basically all the abuse he took.
They looked pretty solid today. They were moving him around in the pocket, getting him to do rollouts and all this stuff. Yeah. So it was a better day for sure in that sense. But I mean,
he looked healthier.
Yeah, but again, look at the competition they're playing against. It's going to be interesting to see what they do next week at Cleveland, right?
That's going to be a rough game. Myles Garrett.
That's going to be the real test for also the rookie left tackle who looks very well today.
T's and P's to him, obviously with that car accident that he had this last week. I mean, that was rough to see his Porsche the way it was. And then on top of that, you're thinking about it like he's a big human being. Like, can you imagine in a tiny car like that? That's rough. But yeah, like you said, Austin Ekeler, 13 carries, 60 yards, 2 touchdowns. Mike Williams, 7 catches, 120. Another guy that impressed me today was Gerald Everett, 5 catches, 61 yards, 1 touchdown.
Yep.
I can't remember I know the announcer's first name, Beth. I can't remember her second. I can't remember her last name, and I apologize. She, in one of those, said, she's like, we kind of asked did they ask Justin Herbert or Brandon Staley if Gerald Everett was more of a big receiver or a smaller tight end? To me, man, that guy looks like a big receiver. Like the way he moves, the way he kind of, I mean, I'm not saying they're the same size. They were teammates last year, but he kind of reminds me a little bit of DK Metcalf in a sense, like kind of that build. But like I said, I like the way he plays. I think Gerald really helps. He's athletic. He's doing a little bit more. He's helping a lot more than Jared Cook kind of did.
Oh,
Obviously, he's younger. He's more athletic.
Yeah, exactly.
This is kind of
he's even a little more sure-handed. I think he only had that one drop where he didn't look it in.
Drop.
Or
Yeah.
he didn't look it in. Yeah.
Other guys that Austin
But
Ekeler.
we didn't see him. We didn't really see him in the second half, though. I don't think.
Not really. Austin Ekeler. So Austin Ekeler touched the ball 19 times. He had 109 yards total and 3 touchdowns. That's a pretty good day, Dan. I think that's a. I mean, and obviously Austin hadn't been playing well these first few weeks, but I think that's a solid performance from him.
Yeah, of course. But I mean, like I said, dude, like competition you're playing, do that again against Cleveland. All right, dude. I'll sing your praises. Let's go. I have that, like Alabama, New England when Tom Brady was there. Like, I expect to win these games, but when you win these games, you have to put the game away early so you can get your backups in. And that's the whole mentality, right? Where it's like, it's not that we're running out the scoreboard. We're still going to run our offense, and you just have to stop it. Because no game is set in stone. Like, no game is put away until the final moments tick off and the last whistle's blown, dude.
Yeah.
You got to learn to put teams away, dude, or else it's going to bite you in the butt.
Now let's go to Jamaree Salyer. He was started his first NFL game. He hadn't played at all. He played during preseason, hadn't played at all, hadn't played left tackle since last year when he played it in the national championship against Alabama. I know he played against Aiden Hutchinson, and he played against really good talent. But what did you make of his first game?
Dude, he looked. I think even the announcer said it. They were real impressed with him. Also, they said he looked like a savvy vet in there, doing the job that he's been doing for years. And he did look very impressive. Like, could you imagine? Seriously, this is going to be a good problem to have if he plays the rest of the year as well as he played today. That's going to be a good problem to have in the offseason to see where you can fit this guy in or wherever. But I think he played really well. There was one play that stands out to me that I just absolutely love because I don't think enough tackles understand this. There was a play where he kicks, right? He takes his kick step in pass protection, and the guy's running, doing all this stuff, but he's waiting. He's waiting until he's within his perfect comfort zone to strikes and locks him up, and that was just glorious, dude. Like, you got to let the defender make the first move, and that's when you lock on and make sure he doesn't move anymore after that.
I completely agree. So obviously the offensive line only allowed 1 sack. I thought that, and like I said, it's the one that he gave himself up in. But I thought it was a pretty good day from the offensive line, to be completely honest. You open up holes in the run game, and then on the second, and then obviously you're able to protect your quarterback very well. I thought they kind of did a better job today than they had basically in the last few weeks.
Well, the thing is too, like I've been saying this whole episode so far. Level of competition also, dude. Like, I just hope they're not overconfident. They don't think, we're the biggest, baddest person in the jungle or whatever, because they don't compare to a Kansas City Chiefs or hell, I guess even the Raiders. They're probably a little bit better. They got a little more juice, and or the Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars are hanging on with the best of them. You know what I mean? So I think the level of competition, like, they have to understand the level of competition isn't. Like, just because you had this win and you played well doesn't mean it's going to translate to when you play the top teams in the league, if that makes sense.
I thought, I get where you're coming from with that. I just think that having Corey Linsley back really 100%. Helped these guys out.
100%.
Justin didn't receive that pressure up the front the way he did the last few games. So I think having him back is huge. Corey was talking to us on Wednesday, and he said that obviously he comes back and he needs to get command of the offensive line and kind of help guys out. He's like, it's our job to get Jameer up and running and and going and everything. So I'm interested to see what kind of what they do moving forward with that.
That's why I'll continue to say the center is probably, I would say, the number one position you have to get the right guy for on offense, 100%. I believe it because you have to get those 5 guys to work in unison to make sure not only your quarterback's protected, but to make sure you open up holes in the run game.
Yeah, no, and that's why you have to give credit to Tom Telesco for the signing of
thank you, Tom,
of Corey Linsley, because that was what they needed. They needed somebody that was going to help Justin out, that was going to see the field. I still love when I'm watching the offense and everything. I love that Corey Linsley's watching the defense and everybody's in the play huddle, and he's just listening in to seeing what they're saying, and then he's like, all right, let's go. So that's like I said,
he's a hard hatter, dude. Cool. He's a hard hatter. He's ready to work at all times, and he's not going to complain about it.
Exactly. Now let's move on to. I thought the defense had a good showing. There were just times where I feel like they kind of give up some plays. There were some plays that you're just kind of like, oh, okay. Like the 75-yard run, that's inexcusable in my opinion.
Yeah.
That was a huge play to give up. That was
because that's why you have safeties, linebackers, and everybody back there filling those run hole gaps.
Exactly. So I don't know. I mean, I guess and that's the thing. You don't know what to make of it. I mean, I don't know what to make of it because like Davis Mills, he only had 9 incompletions. That's not good. I mean, he should have had. He was 26 for 35, 246, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. He was sacked 4 times. That was pretty good. The Chargers were getting after him. Khalil Mack had 1, Jerry Tillery had 1, Morgan Fox had 1, and Sebastian Joseph Day had 1. So they love. Go ahead.
Oh, my bad. I just love that. You could tell the total upgrade at defensive tackle from last year to this year. They're finally, collapsing the pocket towards the ends, and it's just beautiful to see. It's poetry in motion, dude.
Yeah, no, exactly. So it's one of those things where I hate that these videos start playing randomly.
Got some. Yeah, I was about to say, what are you bumping over there?
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not trying to get. I'm not trying to get flagged by YouTube for any of this music.
Yeah.
But
overlords.
Nico Collins had a 58-yard catch over JC Jackson. Dan, can you? It seemed like sometimes Nas isn't in the right place at the right time. You know how some guys, they say, oh, he's in the right place at the right time. It seems like Nas, when those long passes are thrown, he's not in the right place at the right time. Can you kind of maybe go over a little bit of what you thought Nas, where Nas should have been on that one?
Well, look, I'm no math magician, okay? And I obviously wasn't on the field to hear the call or know what's going on and that stuff or whatever. But what it looked like to me, because sometimes these corners, especially the good, high-paid corners, sometimes get beat, especially when there's double teams. Because essentially that was a double team, because there's a reason why they were both on that guy, right? And so usually what happens, at least in my estimation, using deductive reasoning, Nas probably had over the top. JC was going, thinking he had help over the top and all that stuff. And Nas probably didn't take his steps to the correct depth, or he got caught looking in the backfield, and that's why he got beat deep. And, it's just one of those things. You have to be disciplined on your reads and do what you're coached up to do, essentially. Like, don't be out there playing your own game, trying to ball hawk when that's not your responsibility, if that makes sense. Like, that's my estimation as to what happened. Probably got caught looking in the wrong place, and that's why he got beat over the top.
Yeah, and that was I remember there was a mistake a couple of weeks ago against the Chiefs where they gave up that big touchdown to I can't remember, some big tall receiver, and it looked like JC Jackson had just gotten beat, but I think Brandon came out and said no, Nas was supposed to be back there. He was supposed to have safety help, and he didn't have it, and it seems like that's kind of what happened today again. And I think it was that play happened, I think,
that was, I think, the third quarter probably.
Yeah.
It was towards when they started making their comeback.
I think. Oh, no. Okay, so here it is. So it was the second time so after the Chargers punted for the third time, that's when so they went Damian Pierce off the left guard for one. They went 1 yard, 3 yards. Then Rex Burkhead had a 13-yard gain. Then they had the big pass to Nico Collins, and then Davis Mills threw to Brandon Cooks on that 18-yard touchdown reception. So yeah, it was a little bit rough in the second half for the Chargers defense. I felt like in the first half they kind of had it down, except for that 75-yard.
100%.
That 75-yard one. Man, that play where Khalil Mack gets his sack. That was such a great. I mean, it was just he goes unblocked. Davis Mills goes on the rollout, looks and goes, "Oh crap!" And
just
Khalil Mack is right there to greet him. Yeah,
on the
right
fourth
there to
down.
greet him. Khalil now is at 5 sacks, Dan, in 4 games. So that's been pretty
Loving it. Love it.
Yeah, so I'm sure he'll kind of step it up in these next few weeks and kind of try and get more, but that's pretty good. I mean, in 4 games to have 5 sacks, that's some solid work from him. What else? Yeah, it's just, the running game, they ran the ball. Yeah. See, and that's the problem. They couldn't stop the run today either.
Yeah.
Because it was 14. Damian. Oh, Dan, listen to this. They only had one person run the football today. Yeah. Dameon Pierce. Nobody else touched the football on the ground except for Dameon Pierce. He ran 14 times for 131 yards and 1 touchdown. So, okay, even if you take away the 75 yard, the 75-yard touchdown, he still has over 60 yards in 13 carries. That's not good. He averaged 9.4 yards a carry. The run defense is still kind of a problem. I feel like it's not as bad as it was last year. Like at times, at all times, it would just unravel. Here, it's like the Chargers can control it a little bit more because of, like you said, the improved defensive line. They can control it a little bit more. But it is still concerning the way they're giving up plays on the ground. They did it last week against they gave up that's another problem that they kind of need to shore up. Last week on 4th and 1, you give up a 50-yard touchdown run to James Robinson, and now today you're giving up a 75-yarder to Dameon Pierce. And hey, guess what? Next week you got Kareem Hunt and you got Nick Chubb.
And they're no slappies, dude.
Yeah, and that's gonna be rough enough having to go up against those two guys. Now add not being able to stop the run, so the Chargers are gonna have to be even more disciplined next week. But yeah, no, definitely. Again, Chargers pull out the narrow victory, 34-24 against the Houston Texans. It was a rough one, obviously, but the Chargers were able to kind of pull it out, and they were able to pull it out and get the victory off of Justin Herbert and the offense. Like we said, they had a trio of guys step up on offense. It was Herbert, it was Austin Ekeler, and it was Mike Williams and you had Gerald Everett and some other guys on defense. Bryce Callahan gets a pick. Nasir Adderley gets a pick. 4 guys get sacked. So there were some good moments, some good and some bad from both sides.
Positives.
They still need to shore up some things. I mean, it is a little bit concerning some of the mistakes that these guys are having. And like I said, next week you're going up against Bradley Chubb. You're going up against Bradley Chubb, and you're going up against Kareem Hunt. Then on top of that, on the defensive side, you're going to face Jadeveon Clowney, possibly, and you're possibly going to face Myles Garrett. So it's not going to be a walk in the park to any means. Last year, you remember they got into that fat shootout at SoFi Stadium. I think Nick Chubb had 3 touchdowns. Yeah, he had 3 touchdowns. I think Kareem Hunt added another 2. So it could unravel all really quick, but Chargers need to stay disciplined. And guys, I mean, I'm not trying to be like, oh, hey, like I'm not one of these. I'm not trying to be positive or anything, or I don't know what I guess in a sense, like there is still hope, I guess, for these guys to get it together, but they're just gonna have to shore stuff up. I mean, I know this morning, Ian Rappaport tweeted out that if the Chargers are able to make a run towards the end of the season in December, they could possibly get Rashawn Slater back, and they're gonna get Joey Bosa back supposedly at basically towards the end of November. So, hey, if the Chargers are still competitive by that time and you're able to get reinforcements like Joey Bosa and Rashawn Slater back, that's a positive. But obviously, those are big ifs and buts. And
well, yeah, and they're 2-2 anyway. Like the season's not over just because you lose once. You know what I mean? Like
no, and because you lose players, like you should be able to overcome the players that. I mean, and it's not going to be easy at all, but you should be able to overcome and kind of step up and help. That's why I asked Derwin this week, does this kind of feel like 2018 when you guys lost Joey and you guys kind of had to wait for him to come back, and then obviously the defense took that next step with him? And he said, yeah, but I mean, it's another thing that we can point to that when we face adversity. The only thing is, I mean, they probably only have a handful of players. If not, it's probably Keenan, Joey, Derwin, and that's basically almost it of players that were here around that
But
time. But
the Chargers have better linebackers now, I think, than they did in
no,
2018.
yeah, but I'm just saying,
defensive
like,
linemen,
but I'm just saying, like, you didn't have Joey that year. It was Melvin Ingram basically had to pass rush by himself. He had some other guys that would step up, but it just wasn't the same without him. Oh my God, Brian Hoyer headed to the locker room without a helmet. Rookie Bailey Zapp appears to be up for the Patriots.
Hey,
Wow,
this is Brady 2.0, dude.
Wow, that is crazy. So Dan, let's just but yeah, there Charger fans, there is hope for you. You can still make the season out of something. And then obviously no, and I mean that's what I'm saying. Like it's because I see people in my mentions on my tweets and stuff, and like fans are like they're not just
week 4.
They're not just Dan on a whiskey sour Wednesday. They're daily sour. They're daily on it. So
they're drinking with every day that ends in Y, dude.
And that's what Brandon said last week because somebody asked him like, "Hey, you've lost all these players," and he's like, "Hey, we still have a lot of we still have 7 or 16 weeks left. Like we still have a lot of football to play." And yeah, obviously there's so much football left. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. So obviously they just need to stay the course, do their thing, and try and get out of these games with victories. And obviously you're gonna get Keaton back at one point. Donald Parham should come back on the offense, so that should definitely help them out. So we'll see what happens. But Dan, give me your player of the game. Dan,
I'm gonna go with left tackle Jamaree
Salyer.
Oh dang.
Salyer.
Jamaree Salyer, player of the game. I think so. Jamaree Salyer, player of the game, dude. He played excellent, played clean, only had one sack, like you said, and it was when Justin gave himself up. Played clean for the most part. This is a perfect game to get him in there, build up his confidence. So now next week when he faces real talent, hopefully he'll be good to go.
I'm gonna go with Austin Ekeler just because so far in the season he hadn't I think he only had like 80 rushing yards in the first 3 games, and today he had 60, so he almost totaled that. He had 3 touchdowns. He kind of got it going. So that's something that you want to see out of Austin Ekeler. So and the run game especially. So that was a positive by the Chargers, a positive by the offense. And I think that the offense moving forward needs to kind of get it together because this is it's gonna get tough. I mean, their schedule to end the season only gets tougher. So definitely this is gonna be something to watch.
It's week 4. And they're still not efficient in closing out games and putting teams away. Like it's what I've told you for decades, Frau. There's times in the game and you can feel it. Oh, hey, this is a perfect opportunity to take control of the game. Control of the game and put these teams away, dude. When you let them float around, that's when you're always going to close games because you didn't know how to put them away.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So obviously Chargers, like I said again, Chargers win 34-24. They get away with a good victory, or they get away with the victory on the road, and I didn't mean to say good. They obviously advance to 2-2. They will play Cleveland next Sunday at 10 a.m. I believe the game is 10 a.m. They will play Cleveland. Good. It'll be an interesting game. I mean, no Deshaun Watson, but Jacoby Brissett in that offense. They still have some playmakers on there. Again, this week, don't forget, guys, we got COMPAS on the beat. We have Chargers preview on What's Up, Bolts. We have some we're going to be having a preview. We're going to be having COMPAS on the beat. And then we're going to be having some side stuff for Combat COMPAS. Maybe previewing the upcoming pay-per-view, which is Extreme Rules, which is this upcoming Saturday. Hey, Extreme Rules is looking like it's shaping up to be a good pay-per-view card, and you never know who's going to show up. I mean, maybe the White Rabbit finally appears. So we'll have all that this week. We definitely appreciate you guys checking out another episode. Guys, look, if Dan and Dago's positive today, you guys should be positive. Now you got the morning games out of the way. Now you can check out all the evening ones and not stress out.
I can move on with my day. Yeah.
Yeah. So Dan, before
I love 10 a.m. games.
Yeah, no. Yeah, those are obviously great. But Dan, any last words before we head out?
It's only week 4. Everybody relax. We're going to find out real quick and real soon what to expect. And either way, dude, like, I've been here for 3-13, 4-12, and everything else. So everything right now, it's icing on the cake that we're even at 500. So I'm good to go, dude. There's still a whole season left.
And you guys know how Dan is. So if he's positive, you guys should stay positive. We appreciate you guys for checking us out again. Don't forget House of Horns this week. House of Horns, they will be on Monday night after Monday Night Football. I'm sure Gilbert will take time out of his precious deadline to jump on and break down the game. Obviously, COMPAS on the Beat comes out the same day or the same regular day, Wednesday. And then, like I said, we're going to be having some other stuff during the week. Don't forget to like, subscribe. We appreciate you guys so much. Comment. Let us know what you guys like about the show. Let us know if there's other segments you want. If you have any questions, hit up our Twitter, our Instagram, our TikTok, whatever you want. Hit up our email, compasonthebeat@gmail.com. Ask us questions. If you guys have anything, or tweet at us, whatever you guys want, we will answer it on the show. We appreciate you guys so much. Thank you guys so much for rocking with us. For the time being, Dan and I are going to go enjoy the rest of our Sunday. We appreciate you guys. Again, Chargers win 34-24. Thank you guys so much, and have a great rest of your day.
Be a friend, tell a friend.